Joining us now, the head coach of the Mustangs of SMU, Larry Brown. Larry, good to have you with us today.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I think the obvious question, and I'm sure you've answered it 100 times before, why get back into coaching, especially on the college level?
Wow. Well, I never really worked, so I kind of missed it. The last 2 years, since when I got fired from Charlotte, I got to watch other people coach.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guys that have coached with me and have been a big part of my life allowed me in their practices, and I enjoy the relationships they have with their players and the fact that they could teach. And then, when I look at my background, I played for Coach Smith, Mr. Iba, Coach McGuire, John McClendon, Pete Newell, Alex Hannum. I figured before I get too old, I'd like to share a lot of the things I was taught with other people, and SMU gives me that chance.
One of the things covering you when I was doing the NBA was the teaching you just mentioned. You have people like yourself. You mentioned Mr. Iba, the Hubie Browns of the world. Teaching is so important, and I'm not sure the kids are getting that kind of teaching, the old school teaching.
I think we have phenomenal coaches out there. The thing I noticed that's different is, and covering the NBA, they don't have freshman teams.
Right.
So kids, when you're a freshman and you had a freshman team, it was all fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about winning or losing. You learned how to play. You learned the system. And then when you went to the varsity, you usually stayed the 3 years, and you were competing against less guys, and you valued the minutes you got. And then when you got to the NBA, you had 4 great years of coaching, so you respected the game a lot more. Now, kids think they're failures if they don't go in the NBA in 1 year. The AU, they play so many games, and the games, to me, even though I love AAU because kids get to go places they wouldn't go, they're with a lot of people that truly care. Games become meaningless. It's all about show, not substance. So it's not that they don't want to learn and they don't respect coaching. They're just not put in that environment enough. So when you're a pro coach, you got 82 games in 160 days. In college, what I found out, we have more time to practice, actually. Practice, but it's true. And I love it. And I love the teaching part. And I think if we do a good job, and I think we have a great staff, we can make kids better.
You talk about the teaching. No one on the roster has played more than 1 year at SMU. So basically, you've got a clean slate coming in. How do they buy into what you're doing? Or will they buy into what you're doing? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they will.
Or they won't be there.
I'm confident of that. But I have a lot of the same values Matt has had. We both came from Coach Smith, and he was a big part of both of our lives, and his values will never change. You play hard, you play together, you play smart, you have fun. And he always allowed me to say it would be nice if we defended or rebounded. So the kids that do that will play. We lost 4 kids by transfer. Might have been by my doing, but honestly, playing in the Conference USA and then going in the Big East, we figure we have to, set our goals higher. But we're with young kids. Matt signed 3. I never got to see him play, but since we've been working together with them, they have a willingness to learn. They're high character kids, and they want to be coached. So I have a great staff, and if we do our part, hopefully we'll get better.
Playing in 2 tournaments. Is this something that you think will help these young men by playing in 2 tournaments like this, and the quality of the tournaments you're playing in?
Well, we had 1 game scheduled when we got the job, and when I first got it, guys were tackling me in lobbies asking us if they could play us, and that was an unusual feeling. But I want us to play against the best. Eventually, that's going to happen. When when you go in, people don't realize how good Conference USA is.
Exactly.
Last night I was flying back, we were recruiting, and one of my assistants asked me, Coach, are you familiar with some of the coaches in Conference USA? And I said, wow, I didn't think about it. And then I started thinking about Danny, obviously, at Tulsa, and Jeff Lebo, and Tim Floyd, and Ben, and God, this conference has some super coaches. And Coach Dickey and I go way back. I think I go back way back with everybody because, you know, if you're in it as long as we are, the relationships you develop are pretty amazing. So we have a huge challenge in Conference USA, and then an even greater one when we leave. But for now, we were 4-12 last year. We lost a lot of good players. We got to figure out how we be competitive. And I'm so thankful we had time in the spring and in the summer to work with your team, because if we didn't have that, starting on October 12th, we would have been even further behind.
You're going up against Danny Manning, and I'll have the pleasure of doing that basketball game. Does that give you a sense of pride? Because I remember talking to Dean Smith, and he was talking about the Roy Williams, all the people that were close to him, and how proud it made him that guys were carrying on the legacy. How proud will that be for you?
It'll be great because, you know, I have the same feeling about Coach Smith. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for him and what he's meant to me in my life. And all the players that I coached, all the coaches that I've been lucky enough to sit next to, I take great pride in what they've accomplished. But Danny is even more unique. You know, kids forget about David Thompson or David Robinson or Bobby Jones or Dan Issel, people that I've been involved with. They connect me with Allen Iverson and Danny Manning. And not a day goes by that somebody doesn't come up to me and talk to me about how excited they were that I was involved with them. Danny might have been as good a college player that's ever played our sport. He did it the right way. Watching him coach with Bill Self at Kansas and seeing the development of the big kids, I know how much Danny had a part in that. I coached against him actually in the NBA, and that wasn't fun. It won't be fun coaching against him, except knowing that I take pride in the fact that he's in our game and he's made it better. And I think as great a college player as he was in pro, he's going to be every bit as successful as a coach.
I think I speak for a lot of the basketball purists that have been around basketball a long time. Thank you for getting back into coaching.
Thank you.
It's going to be enjoyable, and I wish you the best this year.
Thanks very much.